Yeah, when I had the benefit of breaking the guys down today, I said, I just love this football team. I love how hard they work, the energy, the effort. By far, we have a reason to come out and practice tomorrow. We got a lot more work to do. But I really love the energy and the attitude of the guys when they come to work. This is just, from personnel all the way through, we just get a bunch of guys that love playing football, love practicing football, and they love being back here ready to get ready for another season. So it's fun to be out there with them. It's really a group thing, and the title puts me in this position, and I was very, grateful that John and Kyle felt that, some of the things I could take the lead on, like this right here. But there's other things, for example, our team meetings, instead of me running every team meeting, we'll split up in offense and defense, and Raheem and Clay will do things. We'll have some team meetings where maybe other people lead. Maybe we'll have Boyer lead one and cover different things. Kyle is one of the greatest things he does is how he leads a team meeting and talks football. Teaches the team football, teaches the team everything, and that's going to be more of a group effort than ever. It's not going to all fall on me. So, as far as certain things we'll all take a piece of, and that's how this thing's going to be done. So truly when John said what the release said, that listed my name, but then said it's going to be done with all the assistants. Well, obviously, Kyle Shanahan's an outstanding head coach and has been a great leader here and very successful, and obviously him being on the field is awesome. Everything Kyle does, I really don't know the whole progression of what he's trying to get done. Obviously, he's trying to, do a little bit more every single day. So whatever that involves between the doctors, the trainers, and Kyle, that's in there. I really am not too familiar with how that's going to go. So wherever he is in his progression, he'll be trying to do, a little bit of everything until he's back to normal. Yeah, it was. Kyle came off and goes, "Do what you want to do, and if you don't want to do it, delegate it." So it worked pretty well. But we have such a strong, this thing. One of the benefits of being here as long as we have been is the thing has been set up very, very well. There's a good structure. When you do OTAs, you kind of set up the installation schedule. At least we have done this. I can't speak for everybody. Where we have a 7-day install, or I can't remember, 6 or 7, whatever. Install one, and we practice that in OTAs, and then we come back and do it again when we get to training camp. So literally, it's rinse and repeat when you get to camp what you did in OTAs. So the thing's been set up, and camp is, I don't want to say it's an autopilot. There's a ton that goes on. There's adjustments that have to be made and all sorts of different things that happen. But he's basically, we as a group, we kind of decide how we're going to, I look at things and say, like I woke up this morning and thought, what are we going to do when we jump off sides? Kyle sometimes repeats the play. Sometimes we, there's a ton of little things that the head ball coach kind of does, and that who's going to do it now. So as it comes up, we address it. I just have to think about a few more things to do. I still have to get my guys ready to play. The offensive line obviously is a huge piece to this puzzle, and us improving every single day and getting better up front. So that's been my main focus all off season. And when this comes up, it's something that you just, okay, you have to do this, or this, and somebody picks up that role, and I do that. Well, for me personally, I've always paid attention believe it or not, I have paid attention to what's been going on around me all these years, and so I have been close to some head coaches. It's kind of been the guys, and so I kind of always listened and paid, so whatever Kyle's done, whatever we've done, it's not like, wait, what do we do here? What do we do here? I've always kind of noticed. So now that it's like, well, I'll take up this, and Clay will do this, Raheem will do this, Boyer will do this. We have Eberflus here as well. Everybody could pick up a role. So that's all. It's been recent. It's only been the last couple of days. I didn't know this was going to happen as it has the last couple of days. We'll see. It's his ankle. We'll see exactly what it is. And obviously, with all the injuries, so I know Kyle usually goes through the report. I'm not doing that. You can check. Corey will update you guys on that stuff. But we'll see. Hopefully, he's not that bad. Well, Connor had an awesome offseason. I would say through OTAs, he really established himself. I'll say Rob Jones done an excellent job since being here as well. Those two guys have really set themselves apart from the other guys. And then Dom Pooney's had an awesome offseason as well. So first day of camp, short still. It's like another OTA practice. We'll see how it goes, but Connor's still doing well. And as far as like one-on-ones, oh, all of it. I'll look at, obviously with this. I've always I've always been asked to look at both sides, and that will continue to look at the defensive line. What's my opinion on C.J. Day or this guy, or, that type of thing. So I'm always involved in the process. Really good, yeah. Enrique's been a real plus. Everybody in the building's pleased with him. People come up out of nowhere from all over the building and say, "Gosh, that Enrique's doing a really nice job. He's really professional, really working at it." He has a learning curve, like all the young guys do, and he's got a long way to go. But he's done all the right things to this point.
Chris, have you ever had 5 new offensive linemen in a room, and that makes you go to like Jake and Trent and Colton and try to get those guys to try to take more of a lead because they are vets?
They do a great job. I mean, but it is fun. It does take you back to ground zero a little bit. We have to go back for everybody. It's not bad for Colton or Jake or those guys, Trent, to go back and start at ground zero again. It also, I approached the offseason differently this year. I kind of let those guys take some time away, and I met with them individually, the older guys, because I had to do more of the base stuff. But those guys do a great job of letting those players know exactly what I'm looking for. So if there's any question or hesitation, to have 3-4 guys in the room that could tell the 5 new guys what we're looking for, it really helps.
Chris, I think where do you fall on offsides?
I love it. If I had, if they said do it, I say it's over. You don't get that play back. In other words, and coaches, you hate that because you're like, you hate losing the rep. But I want, the importance of the rep is that we stay on sides, and the way to learn to stay on sides, we don't get the rep back. So you don't get a rep to show us what you do on film. We've traditionally done, which is, I've been everywhere else, and that was a long time ago when that was like that. Now we usually bury the rep. Sometimes we get back up and run again. The problem is sometimes you showed the play. So it's the whole dilemma of you show the play, you do it again, and Fred knows what the play is. Or do you flip the play over and then run the risk of it's not run right or da-da-da, and then you say, what we did, we decided we just take it to the end of the little block of 4 or 5 plays that the ones are going and then repeat it at the end. That's all. Believe it or not, I don't like big speeches. I like to coach and talk a lot about football, and I like talking about technique and fundamentals and players and what's important about playing a game of football. Speeches, as far as that, it's hard for me. John made fun of it yesterday. I'm not sure, he didn't think I was a breakdown guy, and I challenged Grumpy, but I think maybe I am a little grumpy. But I do know that he said it was I don't love the big breakdowns after practice. The problem is after practice, I may have an impression of practice based on 1 or 2 plays, and I could be completely wrong if I talk to the team afterwards about practice. That's my opinion. So I'm very careful to say this was a good or bad practice. Let's go watch the tape, and we'll decide if it was a good or bad practice. I can have an impression, but I struggle with. That's why I struggle with the big speeches. I got a little fired up today because I was challenged yesterday, so I got a little bit fired up and told them how fired up I was to be a part of this team and how much I love the way they practice and the energy they bring every day, and got a lot to work on, and we'll keep working.
Chris, during this time, is it going to be like you're calling Kyle at night, he's telling you things that he wants to see, or is this he's truly kind of removed outside of just being around the facility?
Well, he's here. He's a part of things. When he's here, he's listening to everything. When he's not, he knows what's going on. This is, like I said, I don't want to say autopilot, but when you get into the schedule, you barely have time. You go to lunch, you go to meetings, and the meetings are scheduled and planned, and you're barely getting everything done. You go to practice, and now you have this tape to watch, individual tape. So as far as a point of emphasis or something like that, over the course of time, there may be some things that start to come up, and he may notice, or some other coach may notice, hey, let's talk about that. But it really doesn't need to be like directed at this point, at least right now.
Chris, going back to left guard, is it an open competition, or if Connor just latches onto it and gives you no reason to take him off the field, is it going to be his job?
We're going to play the best 5 players as we can, and at left guard we brought guys in to compete at the left guard spot. Now he's the incumbent, and nobody else has done anything to beat him out to this point. So right now, what you're saying is true because he's held it, but we've yet to get to live bullets and see what's happening out there. So
it's only been 1 practice, but how do you think some of the veteran players have responded to the situation with Kyle, and do you bring that leadership group together and talk to them specifically about maybe you have more vocal responsibility because we don't have our head coach right now, or how's that dynamic work?
I think, it was addressed yesterday. John addressed the team to begin with. And I think we have a great core group of leaders. And like I said, we have a bunch of guys that love playing football. And they just want to go out and practice and get better and play and be coached. And Kyle's leadership is obviously going to be missed. Nobody knows the length of time. And so how much of that needs to occur at this point. Right now, we're just going to work and filling in for Kyle as we can as a group, and the players are doing the same thing. Obviously they feel for Kyle and they want him back out there. We all do, but they're going to come to work. They're pros and they work their tails off every day, and they're a great group to be around. There's none of that, well, what if, no excuse making, well, Kyle's not here type of thing. These guys are awesome that way.
When and how did you learn you were going to be taking on this role, and was that at a different time than when you learned of the accident initially?
When did the statement come out? That's when I saw my name. Okay, that's when I saw my name. I knew that we'd all have to pick up the slack. So I knew that once Kyle wasn't, we didn't know. You just don't know. Every day the thing could flip and he can do more and more. So we just don't know how it's going to be. So when I saw my name on it, I said, "Oh, okay, it's going to be that." And then, but it was going to be the group effort. We always knew that. We were talking for days before. What if he couldn't do it? Clay, Kyle, Raheem, Boyer, and I. We were all talking about how we could fill in the blanks if needed. And then obviously yesterday they said, "You're going to be doing the pressers." I said, "Well, I don't think I'm doing the pressers." And then, well, here I am. So.
What was your initial reaction when you heard the news?
Shoot, I'm fired up. I'm excited. Not from the standpoint of I'm fired up from the standpoint of like it's Kyle's down. This is my big. No, it's just like I love the opportunity to help. My thing, what I learned a long time ago. I believe leadership is you serve in leadership. You help people by serving, and servant leadership is any way I can help. Any way I can help Kyle. Any way I can help the 49ers. Any way I can help John Lynch. Any way I can help my players. Any way I can help you guys. Anything I can do to help. That's where I get a charge out of life. That I learned that through a lot of difficult times in my life. That being that way. So this is another opportunity to stand up here. And you guys that were here before, I like getting up here and talking about football. It's not about me. I like talking ball. I like sharing football. I think it's a great game. It's a great sport, and a lot of people don't understand it. And if you have a chance to learn a little more, I like to talk about it because I love the game.
I noticed a lot more people, a lot of staff, and maybe even some coaches shaking your hand at the beginning of practice. Was one practice enough for you to start feeling comfortable in your new role? Is it going to take time as this evolves?
It's going to evolve. I'm the line coach out there. I have to break the team down, have a couple other responsibilities right now. We're doing it as a group, and who knows? Tomorrow we'll be shaking Raheem's hand. I mean, it's not. It's everybody's kind of. It's kind of tongue in cheek. Hey, head coach, how you doing? That type of thing. No, I'm the line coach, and I'm helping along as we go.
What have been your early impressions of Mike Evans?
Man, I love having him out there. The guy's, obviously he's a real pro. His skill set and the things he does well are going to add so much to our football team. We saw a play today in the red zone and OTAs. There's just so many places where Mike's going to help our football team, and I'm very excited to have him.
What conversations have you had with Kyle, and how has he talked to you about approaching this position now?
Which one? I'm sorry, which position?
Kyle.
With my position? Yeah, I did. I had the one conversation, and I think what he said to me was, "Hey, you do whatever you want. I have a lot of confidence in you. You know how we do things. You do whatever you want to do, and if you don't want to do it, delegate it to somebody else, man." He said, "You do what you feel's right, and lead that way." And he said, "I trust that you'll do anything you want to do, and anything you want to delegate."
Have you delegated anything?
Yeah, I delegated this morning's team meeting out to offense and defense, and we decided to do it that way today instead of doing a team meeting. And we'll see as we go each day what it is, and that's about it right now.
Chris, how important is continuity on a coaching staff in a situation like this? You guys have been around each other for a lot of years.
Phenomenal. It's awesome. That's the great thing. And even with Raheem being new, he knows how we do things. We had the spring together, and these guys have known each other for a long time. Man, continuity is everything. And with the players, with the coaches, like I say, I don't want to say autopilot because it's never autopilot. We got to work our tail off to get good and compete every single day. We obviously, it's a tough division and a tough league. But these guys, having these guys that have been here, knowing how we do things, man, it's day after day after day. We know the routine. We know the tempo. We know what it should look like. And boy, there shouldn't be any loss of any. We lose one step in this process.
If Kyle's absence lingers into the season, do you feel like this staff would be uniquely equipped to survive the absence of a head coach?
I think we're going too far. It's hard to say at this point, but I mean, I think one thing I will say I will say that of all the guys that have worked with Kyle in that offensive coordinator / passing coordinator role, Clay Kubiak has been the most prepared, most really, really good. Clay does a hell of a job with what he does, and that's where this is really kind of seamless when you get to the scripting and the game and calling it into practice and stuff like that. Those two have been lockstep. They've really co-done things a lot. It's been a really cool thing to see.
Chris, you and Kyle go way back. How scary, just on a personal level, was it to get that initial phone call?
Yeah, I'm not gonna, cry up here in this first one. Okay, so tough question. I'm not afraid to cry, but the thing is, the guy's he's family to me. This whole organization. Kyle, I've known Kyle for a long time. He's one of my best friends in the world by far. There's not many people that I call friend, and for a lot of reasons, and Kyle's one of them. And he and his wife Mandy are like family to me. This organization did some things for me and pulled me in at a time in my life when nobody would really want to be with me. And Kyle, along with John and the whole York family, have stood by me, and that loyalty is never going to be forgotten. And he's a close friend, and it scares the crap out of you when something like this happens to somebody so close. And I can only imagine. I was thinking the day after, as was Mandy, I'm thinking his wife. I felt like, gosh, what's she going through to pull up and, whatever the situation. I'm not sure of all the details, but I just think the whole thing is just very, very tough, and it was difficult for me, obviously.
Three more guys. Coach, this offense can be tough for a young wide receiver. What have you seen from Dejon Strickland? I've heard that his football IQ is pretty.
He's awesome, man. He's phenomenal. He's everything that I think we thought he would be, and in more when he came out. Just mature, strong, fast, physical, understands the game, lines up the formations, very professional about things. He's been so good in everything we thought he could be. It's really nice to see.
Same question for Keelan Black.
Same thing. Very mature, older. I think he's an older kid. I think his age is older. I think they're just mature, and he's got a great understanding of the game, a very, very professional attitude about everything he does.
What have you seen from Osa Odigizua?
He's done very well so far. He's been his presence has been felt since the minute he's got here.
Good. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.